cover section 1.1, problem 8, and we want to find the distance between the 2 points. So the first thing we want to do is write down the distance formula. And I can label these points as x1, y1, x2, y2. So we can substitute our values. So x2 is 3 minus a half, and y2 is negative 2 minus 2/3. In order to add or subtract of numbers with fractions, we have to have a common denominator. So the first one here, we have 3 minus a half. So the 3, we can write it as 3 over 1. So our common denominator for this problem is going to be 2. In order to make this one a 2, we would have to multiply by 2, but we also have to do the same to the numerator. So 2 times 3 is 6. And on the second fraction here, it already has a 2. So we just bring down our 1. So now we can subtract 6 minus 1 is 5. So we get 5/2. So 5/2 squared. And now let's look at the second, the y values here. So we have negative 2 minus 2/3. So again, we can write the 2 as 2 over 1. And our common denominator here is going to be 3. So in order to make this 1 a 3, I would have to multiply by 3 over 3. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And then here we have a 2. So we have negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8/3. So if we simplify further, we would have 5/2 squared, which is the same as 5/2 times 5/2. And negative 8/3 squared is negative 8/3 times negative 8/3. So we end up with 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 8 times negative 8 is 64. 3 times 3 is 9. In order to add the two fractions here, again, we need to have the same common denominator. So one way to find that common denominator is to multiply the denominators together. So 4 times 9 would be 36. So we can do that. So in order to make the 4 a 36, I would have to multiply by 9. So 25 times 9 is 225. And the 9 we would have to multiply by 4. So 64 times 4 is 256. So if we add 256 plus 225, we end up with 481 divided by 36. Okay, so if we simplify it further, then we have the distance. We can write this as a square root of 481 divided by the square root of 36. So the square root of 36 comes out as 6.